All sorts of stuff is happening today. It's crazy all of a sudden. So let's get going on this thing. Nate, start us off. What's happening in the markets?
Yeah, Zach, the everything is down. So in the it's a sea of
That's
red
one
out
way to
there.
put it.
So right now, Bitcoin is
Just in.
hovering around 46,700. Is down around a little over 9%. Is down in the last 24 hours. It did hit a low of 42,900, and then ETH is down around 12.5%. In the last 24 hours. It's at 3,400 now, and it hit a low of around 3,000 earlier. So I wanted to throw it to Will. What is going on? What's happening in the markets right now that we're seeing this kind of sea of red?
Yeah, it's merely my wisdom that's being played out right now. You buy low and you sell high, and people are selling high here, and so I'm pretty impressed that they're following my line of logic there. Now, just like I guess taking a larger step back, like I don't think anyone here on the show is necessarily a markets expert, but just from like being involved in the ecosystem for the last 3-4 years, you kind of notice that there's very similar trends and happenings. So people see that news comes on and they get really excited about it. Maybe it was just El Salvadorian news that the company or the country buying Bitcoin and becoming legal tender in that country. And there's a big buildup to that moment. The price goes up, and then it happens. People get a little bored. Right? It's a TikTok age, and then it collapses in price, and we get blood on the streets, as I say. Bitcoin's price crashed about 10 grand within just a few hours, or even less than that, few minutes. Huobi, the exchange, saw the price even dip below 40,000. And that affects everything else in the markets too. Like Ethereum is just as connected with Bitcoin, and all these other coins are just connected with Bitcoin in the same manner. And so when you see that happen, you see just a cascade of liquidations occur across all these other platforms. So decentralized finance, which you just saw a tweet up I threw earlier today, just talking about liquidations on those platforms. And so there was about $155 million of liquidations across the DeFi landscape, which of course is a really, really young market. But to see liquidations of that level just means that everyone was kind of pumping into the market, given that Bitcoin's price seemed to be rebounding from its April highs and then May lows. So I think it's just like kind of the same story over and over again. I think the bigger question people are curious about is this just like a momentary setback, or is there more to come over September, which traditionally has not been a very good month for Bitcoin's price? Zach, I'm going to throw it to you.
Yeah, I wanted to bump it to Nate, actually. Just wondering if some of the macro issues in the market are potentially to blame for this one. Are you seeing this as Bitcoin being correlated to other assets in the world, or is this indeed one of these crypto cycles that we see, in cycles?
Yeah, Zach, I think that this is something that is probably more like crypto related. I kind of agree with Will here that I think this is related to like some profit taking off of like the El Salvador news and whatnot. People kind of like assuming a run up and wanting to take advantage of that before everyone else. Crypto sometimes reacts in a small way to like macroeconomic news, but like in this past like Friday when we had like when the U.S. had a bad jobs report, it actually bumped up a little bit in response to USD weakness. So this is kind of complete market dip, I think, is something where people were assuming that the El Salvador news was just going to be good news upon like other good news kind of thing for Bitcoin.
It's very cryptocurrency. Go ahead, Zach. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think like the thing that you said, Will, is like very spot on, right? Like, things still are largely correlated to Bitcoin, right? I mean, we sort of have seen momentum of these coins establishing their own momentum, but when it comes down to it, like the entire market, I think is really wedded to the fate of Bitcoin, and we're seeing that across the market with like other, superstars of the last month. Solana is down sharply. Ethereum, which has been, the star of the show, is down sharply. So it's interesting to see this happen in concert. But yeah, back to you, Will. I didn't mean to step on you.
No, I was just going to make a quick, not funny joke that, it makes sense Bitcoin's price goes up on Friday when there's job reports are bad. It just seems to be like the way things swing in the cryptocurrency market. I'm wondering about the JPEG market. Like that's a very illiquid market, and wondering where the price floor for all these tokens went. kind of interesting to kind of think about that. At the same time, though, a lot of NFT markets are priced in Ether and they're not really priced in dollars. So maybe things didn't change like a ton just because that market ecosystem is kind of moving its own way. But Jen, we got to get you in on the NFT game. So that's why I segue there. Tell us.
Well,
You're looking.
What's your question? Tell me the question.
No, I just want to hear your thoughts. I just want to hear your wisdom on the NFT market.
Well, I don't know if I have any wisdom to share on the NFT market right now. We are going to talk about NFTs later in the show. I wanted to ask you, though, Will, there's a lot of beginners and newcomers who've come to the space this year as all the headlines we've been talking about on this show since February have come out, and they've been waiting for a chance to get into crypto at a viable time. And now we've seen a substantial dip. Is this the right time for beginners to get into the market if they're educated and they know what they're doing, or do you think they should wait?
I have a perfect tweet for this. I wish I could throw it up, but
do it.
No, I can't. It's just throw out, shout out to Ledger Status.
You have to act out the tweet.
Act out the tweet. No, Ledger Status is a really good trader, and he said yesterday, like, you can't dollar cost average your way into a Bitcoin bull market. Like, you're not going to make it that way. Sorry, it's just not how it works. So I would say, like, only spend what you can. Don't be foolish. That's not financial advice.